Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Through the Fire and the SBN Small Business Network podcast. I am your host, Ryan Wickline, and today we have a very special guest, freedom coach, Karen Theimer. Hi, Karen. How are you doing today?
I am doing awesome, Ryan. Thank you so much for asking. And thank you, by the way, for having me as a guest on your show. I'm super excited to be here and just share however our conversation goes. Hopefully, I will inspire somebody out there who is listening.
Yeah, like I said, I read your bio and everything, and I was like, man, she's got quite the story that could help my audience.
Let's hope so.
So, the number one question everybody probably wants to know right now is who is Karen Theimer?
Yeah. So Karen, let's see. Karen loves to have fun. It's all about how do you bring joy into people's lives again, because a lot of people are missing that right now, especially women. I can't speak for men, but a lot of women right now. So how did I even get into this? Well, I'm a cancer thriver. I've gone through divorce. I've had my own life challenges. But it was really one of those that kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things. I needed those challenges in my life because it was the kick in the butt I needed to make a change. And back in 2018, I remember feeling super stuck in my life. I was turning 50. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is how the first part of my life looked like. How do I want to live the second? And I just, again, felt really stuck. And I remember somebody had said, I was at an event and somebody had said to me, well, said to the audience, if your life hasn't changed in the last year or two, go find out what your blocks are. And that was just like, are you kidding me? My life felt like it was falling apart. My business was falling apart. I'm also a massage therapist. So my business was falling apart. Like I said, my marriage fell apart and all kinds of things were happening. So in 2018, I went, that's it. I'm going on a healing journey. I have no idea what that means, but I know I'm going to attract in the right people. And I didn't understand law of attraction or anything like that back in the day. So fast forward, I hired a coach because I remember saying to one of my mentors, I said, okay, I've got this block. My life hasn't changed. It feels like it's falling apart. What do I do? He said, go hire a coach. So I did. I went and hired a coach. And then I got also introduced to plant medicine. So that was another part of my journey. I went to a retreat, we did plant medicine, and I started learning about how the mind and body work together, how our cells hold on to memory, but whose memory is it? Because it's not all ours, right? It goes back generations. Some people say 7, some people say 9. I don't know, let's say 9 for today, generations back. So I started learning about how we carry generational trauma. And when we had the lockdown back in 2020 and I had to shut down my massage business, I thought, you know what? I need to pivot, right? I need to think, okay, if this lockdown is going to go on for a long period of time, like we had no idea, that I need to pivot with my business. So I decided, and I love coaching and helping people. So I decided to take another program. And I started learning about NLP coaching, became an NLP coach, neurolinguistic programming, and also breath work. Elemental rhythm breath work is another part of my healing journey. And I decided to become a facilitator as well, because breath work can also bring up these stuck emotions, release these traumas, whatever you want to call it, that we hang on to, and help let go of things that aren't serving us anymore. So that's how I became, under all this umbrella, like all the tools I have under that umbrella. I became what I call a freedom coach, because people are looking for freedom, whatever that looks like to them. So I decided to call myself a freedom coach, and under that umbrella is the breath work, is the coaching, is the massage therapy, which I'm slowly going to probably be transitioning out. And I'm also part of a network marketing company as well. So all under the health and wellness, all under that coaching, because it's all about getting people connected to themselves again.
Man, that's a wide array of stuff right there.
Need more tools. It's never just one thing, right?
Yeah. So you mentioned NLP, neuro linguistic programming. Like, explain what that is to the audience.
So neurolinguistic programming is basically, we're wired a certain way. We're programmed as a young child of of, what to do, what not to do. We pick on these limiting beliefs about ourselves. Uh, and at one point in life, we kind of get a little bit lost. It's like, who am I again, right? And why am I feeling so stuck? This is kind of the short version. So, like, neuro is the neurology, the neurons in our brain. So it's reprogramming that brain, the beautiful brain that we have, reprogramming it to help people become more aware of their thoughts and their actions and become the best version of themselves. So we're creating new highways. The linguistics are the words that we use. Our words are very, very powerful. As an example, if we're constantly saying, I can't afford, I can't afford, I can't afford this, or it's out of, that kind of stuff, well, good chance you're going to be shown all the things that you can't afford. But if we start changing that program, or this isn't me, whenever I hear people say that's not me, big chance that is you, right? So big chance that's where you're supposed to be going. So, I can't do this. Well, who told you you can't? So our words are very powerful. So what I do is I help people become aware of those words, and let's change the linguistics around that, because there's better words to use than I can't, I tried. I love the word try.
Yeah, I find NLP like very, very fascinating and everything, especially how they deal with the mind. Like I listened to Tony Robbins talk about the one time, and I do mindset training with athletes. He's like, NLP is a faster way of getting somewhere than a lot of like psychotherapy and like even regular mindset training.
Yeah, I agree. I have 100, and I've seen it for myself. Like, I've seen it work with me on how fast it works. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. This is a forever journey, right? And then with my clients and stuff, it's amazing. Like, these clients who have had therapy for years and years and years, and then one of my programs is a 12-week program, and in 12 weeks, the shift that people can make, because you're just changing the highways, the neurology, changing up the words, helping people become more aware of that. And it's fascinating. I love listening to Tony Robbins. Actually, I was listening to him this morning. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So, what are some of the challenges your clients face?
Confidence, 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 confidence. People have, it's amazing because people will have confidence. Like, I always say I'm a confident person, but if you stick me on stage, at this point in my world, I am not confident. My goal is to get confident, but there's certain areas where, you step out of your comfort zone and you're not so confident with it, right? So confidence is a big one. A lot of, especially women at this age, like around the 50 plus age, feel like they don't know who they are. What are they going to do in their next chapter? I don't have the skills. I don't have the confidence. And it's really uncomfortable to be uncomfortable. So that's what I'm finding with my clients, are just like, what do I do next? I hate my job. I want to get out of it. Now it's about me. Now what?
Huh. So, how has your own healing journey shaped the way you help your clients?
Oh my gosh, it helped me understand how the brain works and the body, and how to, for me, it's helped me trust. Trust is a huge thing because a lot of people don't trust. They're skeptical. Like, I had a call with someone yesterday and they were like, how do I, like, how do you know it's going to work for me? I was like, well, I know it's going to work, but it's up to you to decide whether it's going to work. If you come into this thinking it's not going to work, then
It's
it's
not
not
going
going
to
to
work.
work, right? But so for me, excuse me, it's helped me trust, and it's helping my clients trust in the process, in themselves. Because most people don't trust in the process, and they don't trust in themselves that they can actually do the thing and actually have this dream life that they want, and understand that it's a journey, right? That took me a long time to figure that one out. And really, and also knowing that you are enough. Like, I really feel like in this, especially in this last year, I've really dove deep into a lot of self-love. Like, in my head, it's like, yeah, I love myself. But then I'm doing something maybe eating too much junk food. I have a sweet tooth. I know that. Or maybe I might be beating myself up on something that I didn't do, right? Like it's the inner chatter, and I'm pretty good at catching it. But I would say for me, I've been really learning to feel, like really feel those feelings. Because if you can't feel it, then you're just still too much in your head. So I'm learning how to feel, what does it feel like to open up your heart, which that's a new one for me, right? Because it's like, I wanted to know what it feels like to be compassionate. I'm a compassionate person, but I don't know what that feels like. So I went to a retreat a couple of weeks ago, and now I get it. It's like, oh, this is what this feels like. It's just this, I don't, you know what? I don't, it just feels like bliss. If you could imagine what bliss and peace feels like, that's what it feels like. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. So this journey has taught me that, how to really tap into my feelings and be okay with crying, be okay. Because I was taught, most people are taught to shut down their emotions. I want people to be okay with, I would like, people to be okay with showing emotions. And same with myself. Like I'm getting better at showing the tears, being vulnerable, right? If I'm feeling angry, what are tools I have? I go out in my car and I scream it out, I shout it out, and then I usually have a good cry and then figure out what this is all about, right? So that's how it's helped me to be okay with being more vulnerable, trust in myself, trust in the process, and more self-love. Like just be, I'm just doing the best that I can, right? With what I know today. Tomorrow's always a new day.
Yeah, I think you hit one right there, vulnerability. Like, I think we've been programmed so much to think that being vulnerable is a bad thing.
Right? Especially for guys, especially
Yeah,
for men, right?
like
Don't
even
cry.
women now, even some women that have been through like divorces and been hurt by other men, they think they have to like take the lead at times.
Yeah, because showing tears to many people, especially my clients too, showing tears is showing weakness. That's what they believe. So it's helping people again to reprogram that showing tears isn't weakness at all. It shows you're a human being, right? And it shows you're okay with being vulnerable. And we all have something. Doesn't matter where you come from. We all have something, right? So it's allowing ourselves to be okay with being not okay.
Yeah, right. So, what are some of the practical ways you build confidence in your clients?
Step out of your comfort zone.
That's a big one right there.
It is because most people, there's the inner chatter that says people are going to judge you, right? So there's one of the things we learn in NLP is that the 4 levels of competence. And this changed my world. I mean, there's many things that changed my world, but this was one, especially around public speaking, that I'm getting better with. I still use the filler words. However, I'm working through that. But the 4 levels are, you watch somebody do something and it looks easy. I'm going to use public speaking as an example, or riding a bike, doesn't matter. So you watch somebody do something and it looks easy. Then you go and try it yourself and you fall down. So whether you're riding a bike or you forgot your words, whatever you're going to say when you're doing a speech, that kind of thing. So then you go to do it and then it becomes a mess. However, what ends up happening is that the part of your brain, the amygdala, says this is danger. I'm being chased by a bear, a saber-toothed tiger. This is scary. Let's not do this. So that's where people will stop doing the thing, whatever that is, right? But if we just move past that, say, thank you, amygdala. I know you think I'm being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. I'm not in danger. I'm fine. It's supposed to be messy because that's how you grow and that's how you learn. So it's like, let's be messy. And then you realize, oh, okay, well, maybe that didn't work out so well, because that happened to me a couple of times. Someone handed me a microphone and I'm like, I don't know what to say here. And then I just ramble. So I realized for me, I needed to learn a skill. And so I took something called Toastmasters. I'm still in Toastmasters, which is helping people, for those who don't know, is helping people learn how to be a better speaker. So I'm taking Toastmasters. Okay, so I need to learn a skill. right? So the more I practice this, especially with Toastmasters and getting their feedback, then so stage 3 is where you're practicing, you're getting the skills. It's getting a little easier. And then you get more comfortable with it. Now you've built new neurology, new thoughts, going, hey, wait a minute, I can do this. And then stage 4 is where you can actually teach it. So those are 4 levels of competence. So you're supposed to be messy. It's supposed to look easy when somebody else does it. You're supposed to try it and be uncomfortable, and it's supposed to be messy. So once you learn that and be okay with that, then the rest is easy peasy. It's just practice and skills.
I love how you hit on that like the one thing I've realized, and most people don't realize this, is the brain is programmed for you to run away from pain and seek pleasure.
That's right.
It's programmed that way. So you're always going to, if there's a chance of you failing, it's going to run away from it.
That's
And
right.
seek something easy and pleasurable. But true confidence does lie in getting past all that and succeeding on things you never thought you'd be able to do.
That's right. That's right. If you'd asked me 5 years ago, 6 years ago, if I'd ever want to do public speaking, I'd say you're nuts. But now it's like I see the power behind it. I actually really enjoy it. Doing these podcasts has helped me enjoy speaking more, and it also gives me opportunity to be a speaker. So it's amazing.
I think you're doing an amazing job. I mean,
Thank you.
so the classes must be working very well for you.
Thanks. So that's the thing, helping people, build that confidence that way.
So, what are some common limiting beliefs you see in the women you work with, and how do you help them break free from them limiting beliefs?
Well, there's the I'm not good enough. That's a huge one. Having people not use their voice, because it's about, being able to speak up for yourself, have boundaries, and no is a full sentence. So some of the limiting beliefs of people, women feeling like they can't speak up. Who's going to listen to them, right? Which is part of the I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. Who's going to listen to me anyway? Those are the most common. And self-love. People don't realize that when I listen to people talking, and I'm going to come back to women because most of my clients are women, but I hear it in men too. So but there's a whole lot of, and I'm definitely a lot better with that myself, of being super hard on yourself. Like there's a lot of, especially around self-image, I'm fat, I've got cellulite, I've got, I don't know, whatever, like who's going to, if they're single, who's going to love me, or what's wrong with me. That's a whole lot of lack of self-love. Nothing's wrong with anybody, right? So that's common.
Yeah, like I said, I'm starting to see like a lot of people are programmed like to see the bad in everything. Like instead of seeing hell, and it's just like the way they speak about themselves, like, oh, what's wrong with me? Like you say, instead of saying, oh, well, maybe this just isn't supposed to work, and we're incompatible and have our differences,
Yeah. That's exactly it, right? I mean, we're programmed like that, like you said, right? And the brain likes to keep you safe.
Yeah.
Let's stay in our comfort zone. Let's not grow. That's scary. That's anxiety. Part of it is when you're you're stuck in the future, right? You're stuck living of the what ifs. Well, we go to the worst case scenario because that's what we like to go to. But whenever I ask people, well, what do you want? And most people are like, I don't know. No one's ever asked me that. We're very clear. We could write the book on what we don't want. But most people haven't a clue of what they want. They just know they want a better life. They don't even know what that looks like.
That's amazing that if you think about that a lot of people don't even know what they want.
Not a clue.
Like, how are you supposed to grow and actually have goals?
Yeah.
If you don't know what you want.
Yeah. That's exactly it. You can't go somewhere. It's like putting in, if you're going to somewhere new, you got to put it in the GPS, and you got to, figure out where you need to go, right? Figure out your map of where you want to go. It's like planning a vacation. So it's helping people, giving that. It's almost like you have to give yourself permission to dream again, because I think at a young age we're taught to shut down the dreaming. People used to always say to me, "Oh, you live in Karen's world," and I used to think that was a bad thing, like, because I would think, like, I always see the other side of something. Like, I like to see the better side of things, right? The more positive side of things, instead of like going down the rabbit hole with all the stuff that's going on in the world and all the negative stuff. It's like, well, how about we flip this a little bit, right? So, but people used to always say to me, "Oh, Karen, oh, you live in Karen's world. It's not all about butterflies and rainbows." And I'm like, I like butterflies and rainbows. Like, what's the matter with them, right? I mean, I don't live in a dream world. Don't get me wrong, but I used to think that was wrong to live in my world, until I started my journey, and people would ask me, like, "What do you want?" I'd be like, "I don't know," like, because I didn't realize that I was taught to shut down dreaming, because dreaming and fantasizing is for weirdos, right? So I used to think I was one of those weirdos, until I discovered it's like, hey, wait a minute. I'm looking at other people's worlds and everybody's stresses. And you know what? I actually like Karen's world, because Karen's world is, how can I bring more joy? Where can I go have more experiences and have fun and grow and get, like I said, fall down and pick myself back up, right? And that kind of thing. I mean, I still, go through my own stuff, but I like Karen's world, because it's about, where can I have fun? Right? So that's what I want to help people do. Where can they find their joy, their peace, what makes them get excited to get up in the morning?
So how important is it to help them find their purpose then? Is kind of what you're elaborating on.
Kind of, yeah. It's important, because it gives, no, I think it's important to have, I think we're all here for a reason. I don't know why always what that reason is, but I think we're all here for a reason, to have experiences, have lessons. Um, I think it's important, because what gets you excited to get up in the morning? Like, I always think of, wow, I get another day on this planet. This is really cool. So I go into gratitude. When I wake up, it's like, oh, this is awesome. I'm here again. Right? Instead of all this, oh, I'm dreading going to work, and oh, another day. Who wants to live? I guess you get to decide what kind of life you want.
Yeah. I just love how you just touched on that gratitude. I mean, I listen to so many people complain about, like, oh, I have all these thoughts running through my head. I'm like, if you just practice a little bit of gratitude right there, you'll stop thinking about what's wrong and what's going on, and just be like, oh, I mean, look at everything I do have.
Yeah. It's huge. It's huge. Most people don't even know where to even start with gratitude. Right? Like, it's amazing, because I mean, well, it took me a while, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, again, this is going back a while ago, and it's like, well, how about just be grateful you wake up? Or how about be grateful the sun is shining? Or, your dog looks at you, or if you have kids, like, just, I don't know, something, right? Find something.
That's why I've told a lot of people before. Said a lot of it's the little things, like, hey, I have a place to live, or I
Right?
have a job. I mean, I have a family. I have friends. I have
Yep.
people that actually want to talk to me, like the little
Exactly.
things. I said, if you're grateful for the real little things, like the bigger things will come.
That's right. That's right. It all starts with gratitude, for
Yeah.
sure. I agree.
So I heard you talk about mindful decluttering. So what exactly is that?
Well, if you go to my website, you'll find out. No, the decluttering the mind. So I have on my website, I have a free PDF, and it's about journaling out. This one changed my world. Again, lots of things that change my world, but I'm only sharing some. It's about decluttering the mind. What does that mean? How many projects do you have on the go that you've started and never finished? Right? How many books have you started that you never finished? How many things are taking up energy, because these things take up energy in our body and in our mind, and then we get exhausted. because it's like, oh, you can't be everything. You know, I hear a lot of people too. Oh, I got to do my taxes. I'm an entrepreneur. I do my taxes. I do my books. You know, and then I'm a wife, and then I have kids, and then blah, 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 right? So then it's like, okay, well, what can you delegate out? Right? You can't do it all, especially as an entrepreneur. You can't do it all, right? Or if you have a family and stuff. And so, what can you delegate out? What can you get rid of? Like, is there any projects, you know, or maybe you have some, you know, work you've started in the house and you just don't know how to do it, but you've started it. And then it's like, now how do I finish it? Go hire somebody, you know, either finish it or go hire somebody, right? The money will always show up. Just get out of, you know, it's important to get out of our head around money to some degree, so that's how decluttering works. If we can delegate it, delete it, and put a date on something that we're going to finish, then you'd be amazed at how much lighter you feel. And I'll share a quick story because it makes me laugh every time I think about it. During lockdown, I didn't want to spend, you know, the money to become an NLP practitioner and take the course. But I knew I needed more tools for my coaching. But I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to spend the money. Here we are in lockdown. Like, I don't know when my, you know, money's going to come in, right? And so I decided to go on this website where they have all kinds of courses. And I purchased 2 of them to learn NLP. One was a life coach one. I think it was like $20. The other one was an NLP practitioner. I think that one might have either been $20 or $25. So let's just say $50 I spent. I hated it. But in my head, I said, I have to finish it because I spent the money. It's only $50. Doesn't matter. Didn't matter. Excuse me. But for a year, I was stressing about this. Okay, I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to finish it because I said I'd start it. I spent the money. I'm going to finish it. And then somebody did this decluttering the mind thing with me. I just tweaked it a bit. And I thought, you know what, why am I wasting energy on this? Like, I hate the course. So why am I doing this? So by doing this decluttering the mind, it gave me this permission to let it go. Like, just let it go. It's okay, right? That $50 will come back and I'll figure this out and all that kind of thing. Anyway, it was just funny. But it was like this, I don't have to do this. This is amazing. But it really helped my shoulders come down. I felt like I created some space and be able to breathe. I mean, there was other stuff too, but that was the main one for me. So that's what decluttering the mind is.
So that would like really, really help people that like were having like, say they were cleaning or something or doing one project and then like the mind wanders to say, oh, we got these other projects to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. My ex-husband, he was great. He would start it used to drive me nuts. He would start a project, but he would never finish it. And he'd have like 2 or 3 things around the house that he would do. And then it just ended up being a mess. And these half finished projects that used to, like, our deck and stuff in the back, like just all this. And it would drive me crazy. It's like, and finally I said to him one day, is there a particular reason why these don't get finished? And it, as we talked about it turned out he didn't know how to finish it. He was great at ripping things apart, but had no clue how to finish it. So finally I said, okay, let's go hire your brother, or who knew a lot about that, right? Or hire somebody, because A, this is driving me nuts, and B, it's clutter, right? Energetically and physically. So yeah, so it's just understanding, like, what can you delegate out? What can you delete? And what can you, and then if there's someone that it's like, okay, yeah, I want to finish, you know, say decluttering my closet or the junk drawer or whatever that is for you, put a date on it. You know what, in 6 months, I'm going to have this finished in 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, a year, whatever. And if you still haven't done anything by that date, reevaluate it. Do I really want to do this? Do I really want to finish this? Or do I want to actually hire someone to do this? Right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what it's about.
Awesome. So how can it help someone feel more balanced?
That's a loaded question. No, I'm just kidding. being, you know what, it's, I mean, I still try to find I work on, I hate the word try. Try just means I'm not doing it. But finding balance, it's knowing it's okay to relax. It's okay to take a day off. It's also understanding your mind and your body. So if you're one of those people that are super busy and you start getting agitated and irritated and frustrated and this and that and all that with everybody, you need a timeout. Like, it's like, I call it the inner child is having its tantrum. So go walk in the forest. Go for a hike, go for a drive, go find something that gives you peace, right? Just go and take a time away from your work, your family, whatever it is for you, right? Or go do something fun with your family, you know? It's bringing that joy back in. So again, there's another program that if we're not doing a lot, if we're not busy, then we're lazy. And that's so drilled into us human beings. So it's finding that, knowing the cues of when you need a timeout, but catching that before the timeout, before you have your hissy fit. I had one of those the other day. I was like, "Rah." And I'm like, what? Oh, right. I got to put some boundaries here. Right. Because it was one of those I was thinking about for a long time, but there's still a bit of this people pleaser in me with my clients, like in massage, that I'm like, okay, now I need to put up a little bit of a better schedule for myself. So, but I realize it, right?
Yeah. Like, I think that's, like, you touched on that quite a bit, or really hit that right there, is knowing that sometimes you need the boundaries, and your body just might be telling you, no, not today. Let's just go unwind. And you'll come back the next day just so refreshed.
Yeah. Because what will happen with people, they'll get so overworked, and the body's trying to like speak to you. It just speaks in pain and discomfort. So it's the monkey mind that we have to train, not the body. The body's very smart, but it's knowing, yeah, when to take the time out, when to listen to our body. Because what will happen if you don't listen? You'll catch a flu. You'll break a bone. Like, if you keep saying, "Oh, I need a break, I need a break, I need a break," be careful of that one, because you don't know what will break. Um, but it's really just your body will just go, you know what? You're not listening. So I'm going to give you some kind of virus or bug or something and knock you down, for instance, right? So you'll get sick. And then you'll be, lying in bed for the next 5 days because you didn't listen at the beginning, right? Hey, that's happened to me a few times or so, but I'm still working with that. But yeah,
Yeah. I said, I know that's happened to me quite a bit too, where I just try to keep going, going, going. It's like, then the body just says, nope, you're done.
yep, you're done. You're gonna sleep this way.
Yep. So, as a freedom coach, what does freedom mean to you?
Oh, freedom. I love that word, freedom. I used to think it was so hokey, but now I discovered it's not. And yeah, so freedom to me means, it means to be able to have more choices, to be able to come and go when I want to have to have like emotional freedom, be okay with, you know what? Hey, I want to cry today. I'm going to go cry, right? Or I'm going to go have some fun today. I'm going to go have some fun today. So freedom is just really about finding that peace. That's it. It's more of it. Finding that peace and calm in my world. That's
So,
freedom.
how do you go about get, getting peace and, like, more calmness in your life?
Learning how to listen to your body more. Um, Learning to again have those boundaries. What brings me peace and calm is being out in nature, walking my dog, being with horses, traveling, that kind of thing. I am a horseback rider, so being with the horses and those kind of experiences bring me that peace and that calm that I just love the feeling of.
So then, like, your clients, then when you're working with them, you kind of they have to kind of know themselves a little bit, be more self-aware about what they want then before you can kind of help them, right?
Yeah, and then letting go of the guilt of doing. Some people love to read, right? And that brings them peace and calm. That's a big one. I'm finding a lot of adults are getting more into coloring, these adult coloring books and stuff. That brings people a lot of peace and calm if you like that. Actually, I started coloring too. So I'm like, oh, this is fun. But it's learning to give yourself, it really is giving yourself permission that it's okay to relax. You're not lazy. Because sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, I'm having a lazy day." No, 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 no. I'm not lazy because I'm far from lazy. I'm relaxing today. So it's again changing the words, right? From this, I feel lazy. No, you're just relaxed. This is what peace and calm feels like. Relaxed.
I love that. Like the perspective you have with just the way my words come out of my mouth is shaping everything that my brain is telling me, like instead of, hey, having a lazy day, I'm just relaxing. It sounds more peaceful, and it,
Right?
it doesn't feel like you're wasting a day.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're not wasting a day. Everything works out. I believe everything works out exactly how it's supposed to. I really
Yeah.
truly believe that.
So for women that are coming out of a divorce or separation, what advice would you give to them?
Sink or swim. No, that was me. I'm like, okay, I better sink or swim here. Like, which is it going to be? No. I still remember afterwards, and we sold the house, and I sat on where I live now, and I'm sitting on the deck, and I'm like, what the heck just happened? Like, it was like I was in this tornado and then just got spit out. Now figure it out, right? And then I was like, okay, I got to either sink or swim, right? I'm going to live in this like misery, or I'm going to figure this out, right? And if I was to turn back time, if I had known about coaching back then, I probably would have hired somebody a long time ago. But it took me a while to finally figure that one out. But no, just know that it depends on the divorce, you see, right? Because things don't happen to us, they happen for us. And that took me a while to figure that one out. But just know you're going to be okay. You're strong. You're stronger than you think. And yes, you got to go through all of the emotions of grief. This is grief, right? You have to go through all that. But know that you got this. Like you really, truly have this. And now you get to create the life you want. And I highly recommend don't jump right back into a relationship. I'm not a relationship expert, but don't jump into a relationship right away. I knew I had to stay single for a while because I kept attracting the same type of guy in. Just a better version of it. The ones that I felt needed rescuing. I'll rescue you. So anyway, that's a whole other podcast on that one. But yeah, my biggest thing is just go through the grieving period, but just trust in the process. I know it's easier said than done. I've been divorced. I think I've been divorced now 8 years. I don't know. I lost track. But anyway, somewhere around 8 years. But it really was, I got to figure this out. But don't try to figure it out on your own. Because that's too, I don't think you can figure this whole thing out on your own. I really, truly don't. Because it's around perspective. That's
I
what
think
I
that's
believe.
some great advice right there. Even like, hey, try to avoid another relationship because you're probably going to be chasing down the same type of person that you just left.
I will bet you on that one, right? You'll just find a better version. Or maybe
Yeah.
not, right? You'll just find the same person. But, it really, and a lot of people don't know how to be on their own, because it's scary. What happens, like I was chatting with somebody yesterday and they're like, well, I need a man for this, this, and this. And I'm like, really? Who told you that? Right? Yeah, but you want to be self-sufficient. You want to do all this stuff, but you feel like you can't do this unless you have a man around. Right? So it's kind of like, okay, I can work with that. Right? That's limiting belief, right? That I can't do this because of that. or I can't move forward until this happens. It's like, oh, who told you that? Right? So these are things that stop us.
Right. So then forgiveness is probably a major part of the healing process then, right? Forgiving yourself for everything that just happened.
Yep. Oh yeah. But it goes way back. Like forgiveness is huge. We need to forgive the other person. We don't have to like who they are, and we don't have to say, oh, their behavior was right, but we have to forgive them. And it's also important for us to forgive ourselves because we also made the choice of picking whoever, whether you picked your other half, right? So we made that choice, and we made the choice of staying in it. Because you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know what you don't know. My ex used to say that all the time. I didn't know what I didn't know what I didn't. I'm like, how do you not know? I've learned a lot since then. But it really, forgiveness is huge, and it is not an easy one. When I was at the retreat, and when I was actually a participant in breathwork, I actually got connected to my teenage Karen, and there was some forgiveness in there. Of course, the tears come, but tears always show up. But anyway, there was some work there, forgiveness of teenage Karen who didn't make some great choices back then. We have to.
Yeah, I
keep
think
going.
that's huge for a lot of people is learning how to forgive themselves for their mistakes they've made in their past. I mean, we
Yeah.
just carry that stuff and have it like kind of bottled up.
Yeah. And then we stay angry, and then we blame everybody else for our problems. But you know what? At one point, you got to take ownership. Put your pants on, put your big boy pants or big girl pants on. Actually, I got to come up with a better saying than that. I don't like that saying. But anyway, but like time to change and take ownership. And you know what? You got to stop blaming other people, because we're adults, that need to take ownership of whatever that is and make a change. The blame game you can't, I think it's too easy to blame other people. You know what? Take ownership and move forward, or stay in the victim mode.
Yeah, you hit the head or hit the nail right on the head right there. I mean, I always tell everybody, without accountability, nothing happens. If you can't be accountable for your actions, I mean, how are you going to grow? How are you going to fix the problem if you're blaming somebody else?
That's right. That's
So
right.
that was one of the major hurdles I had to get over at
It's
one
hard.
point, was like, hey, it's not their fault, it's my fault. No matter
That's
what they
right.
did, it's still my fault because I allowed it or chose to be around them.
Yeah. And I do bring up my ex because I learned a lot from that experience, like from our divorce and stuff. And we're still friends, right? Like we ended up becoming friends down the road, sort of. But anyway, but I used to he'd always be like, why are you judging me? And I'm like, I'm not judging you, just do as I'm telling you, right? Like if you did this would happen. And if you did that would happen. I'm not judging you, not realizing that's what I was doing, right? However, I understand how we mirror each other. Now I do, then I didn't. But I realized it's like, oh my God, I was judging him because I wanted him to do the things, but I wasn't doing it. I want you to feel healthier. I want you to quit smoking. I want you to come exercise with me. I want you to blah, blah, blah. But I'm not doing it either. Well, I'd quit smoking, but but I'm not doing it either. So it's kind of, when we split up and that kind of stuff, I started learning about this and went, oh my God, I really did do that. I'm sorry, and own up to my share of how the marriage fell apart, because it takes two to tangle.
Yeah. Like that right there is like what a lot of people don't understand. Like it takes two people in a relationship for it to fall apart. I mean, it
Yeah,
wasn't just, it was falling apart before something happened. I mean, both both people did something wrong.
yeah, yeah. Takes two to make it work, and it takes two to make it not.
So one practice that I saw you're a big proponent of is breath work or deep breathing. Can you explain what that is to the audience?
Breath work.
Yeah.
So this is a type of breath work. So if people who are listening and they know who Wim Hof is, he's what they call the Iceman, and he also did breath work as well. It's similar to that, what I do. But for those who don't know about Wim Hof, I highly go recommend Googling him. However, so this is called elemental rhythm. It's about taking people through breath work, a meditation, movement. What it's doing is it's helping, and it helps people go deeper into breath and deeper into pulling up those emotions, those buried traumas, and helping to bring them up and be able to release them. You know, again, we've buried emotions so deep. Sometimes people get clarity. I've seen people get rid of addiction through breath work, help their anxiety, get rid of anxiety, find their new career, having a cry for the very first time in like 20, 30 years, and people feel relaxed. So it's helping creating a space where it's okay to let go. Right. So it's different tempos of breathing. I get people to shake and scream it out, yell it out, swear it out, do whatever you need to do to get it out. Shaking is all about, and this is a great tool to do at home when you're feeling like you're just buzzing. If you're just feeling this, you don't know what it is. You just know, like you're just feeling this. That's the only way I know how to describe. It's not an anger, but so when I get people to shake, put on some music, I do a bit of drumming and encourage people to shake it out. Because if you think of a deer in the wild, it gets chased by a predator and it goes into fight or flight. When it feels safe, it shakes it off and then it goes eats. Humans, on the other hand, we get chased by the predator. We go into fight or flight, meaning you got cut off by by a car, by another driver, your boss, whatever that is. And humans live in fight or flight all the time. And we love to share the story about what pissed us off that day or the day before or 6 years ago. We still love to share the same story. So we need to shake it off, get rid of it, move it, let it go, heal it, forgive it. That's what breath work does. It just helps.
That's
It's
kind
all
of amazing.
transformation. I love it. People love it.
So, like, what type of movements do you guys do with it then?
So I start off with, like I said, people. So we start off with a little meditation. I need to, one of my goals is to finally get it up and running online, like on Zoom. I just haven't got there yet, but I do a lot in person. And so again, we start off with this shaking. And like you're just standing there and you're just shaking. I mean, it's hard to tell with this virtual background, but you're shaking your body, right? You're standing there, you're shaking, you're listening to the music. Then everybody lies down. Then I take them through the breathwork sequence. And it's about, you start off with what's called earth breath. It's really slow. And then we rank up pick up the tempo and we move into fire breath, which is really fast. And then we do it again. We do this for about 5 songs. And then afterwards, then I take you through another meditation. I'm helping you get connected to your inner child, because this is who's running the show. And I dive deeper into explaining what that means, inner child work. So it's getting you to get connected with your younger self and, maybe saying something to yourself that you never had a chance to as a kid, right? So that's very, very powerful. Then then we do that, and then we do a little bit of sharing. And I would say my healing is your healing is my healing, because we're really at the end of the day trying to figure this out of being a human. So breath work is just another way of releasing stuff from our past and getting
Awesome.
back. And I say we've lost who we are, and now we're bringing pieces of ourselves back to who we truly are.
So that's kind of a different form of meditation than you said, with the deep breathing but just kind of sped up and slowed down, sped up.
Kind of, yeah. People will get visions, get connected with loved ones, all of a sudden get a complete aha, like, this is what my purpose is. I've got this clarity of what I'm doing. This isn't it, but this is it. You look at all kinds of stuff.
That's amazing.
It's powerful.
How important has personal development been for you on this journey?
Huge. I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for personal development. Although I used to be a personal development junkie, and I discovered that, well, if you're not doing the work, then you just become a personal development junkie.
So what does that really mean, a personal development
What does it
junkie?
mean? It means you do a lot of personal development and never do the actions to actually move forward. That was me because it was uncomfortable and I didn't like stepping out of my comfort zone, but except I was spending all this money on personal development and just not doing anything with it. I'd learn a little bit here and there, but not really diving deep and doing the work, doing the getting out of comfort zone. So personal development has changed my world. I'm still doing personal development because I have bigger goals. I would like to travel and do retreats and teach breathwork at retreats and do more coaching. Like I have all these things I want to do, right? But some of it does require stepping out of my comfort zone, but I'm okay with that. Social media, getting more on that too, right? Didn't grow up with it. It's coming along. It's coming along. It's a journey.
Was that one of the things you had to break free from? Was it's okay for me to post on here? And
Yeah, it's okay for me to not have it perfect because it really isn't anything that's perfect. But I would get a little bit too much in my head doing my posts, even doing live videos. And I'm kind of on again, off again. I've sort of been the last few weeks not doing any live videos. So kind of like, why did I all of a sudden stop? So now I need to get back into it because something was trying to sabotage me, you little bugger. Go away. That's something in here.
yeah,
But I've surrendered to social media because you can help people on a bigger scale, make an
yeah,
impact.
and it helps you build your brand up.
That too, and just keep going, How do you build the skill? How do I get better? Thank God for AI because it really has helped me out with a lot of things, right? I don't want to rely on AI, but I have to say I'm one of these that it's like, yeah, I like it. It will create something for me, and then I have to tweak it so it sounds like me. But it's like, here's my thought, put this into words, and then I'll change it up so it sounds like, because it has to sound like me at the end of the day. Everybody knows AI, right?
Yeah.
So,
What is one book you would recommend to the audience about personal development or mindset?
oh my gosh, you know what's one? Actually, there's two. I forget the author. There's one called The One Thing. It's an easy read, super easy read. Actually, there's a few books. I should put a list on my website. The One Thing from, nope, I'm terrible with remembering authors. Anyway, it's called The One Thing, and it's about pick one thing you can do today that will help move the needle forward. Just one. Something Keller. Something Keller. I can't remember his anyway. But fantastic book, easy read. He's funny. I like that one. The other one is Four Agreements. That's another one. And something about cheese. What is it? Something
Something about cheese.
something about cheese. That's another funny one. Who cut the cheese, but who's the cheese for? I can't remember. Something about cheese. Anyway, I like easy read books. So, but I know you asked for one, but I gave you three.
It's all right. I think that's pretty. I've heard about the four agreements from other people, but the other one, it's like, that's some great advice. Just do one thing today that moves that needle. Because everybody's always trying to do, like four or five things instead of just one to try to rush the process. As as you say,
Yeah,
trust the process. They're always trying to rush it. And so we got to do like 10 things instead of just that one thing that'll get you even closer. And that builds
that's right.
momentum.
That's right. That's exactly it. And it gets you out of overwhelm. And one thing I would like to share, get used to having a list. I hear a lot of people, oh my God, my list just never gets smaller. It gets bigger and bigger. Get used to it. You always will have a list. That list will never go away. Because if you don't have a list, then it means also you're not growing. There's reason for lists.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
What are your short-term and long-term goals?
Oh, short term, again, short term goals when it comes to getting better at marketing for myself. Um, and working on, improving, I always want to improve my own health and challenge myself that way. Like I joined a gym. I never liked gyms before, but I found something that I like. So it's in consistency. My long-term goals, I don't really have too many short terms. I guess just, showing up every day as my best self, right? The long-term goals, I want to do more traveling for longer. I don't want to do these week-long week-long vacations. I realize it has to be at least 2 weeks. I want to be able to go away for a month or two and travel. I'd love to be able to, again, I'm would love a house again. I want my own house again. Uh, and then I want people to hire me to do retreats around the world. That's what I'm manifesting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of retreats are you wanting to do?
I mean, most of the ones that would probably hire me would be like, well, that's not true. No, I just almost put a limiting belief on something. Uh, uh, a lot of them are health and wellness retreats, like it could be yoga, but it could be also a business retreat for somebody. But it's going to be for people who want to let go of things. I'm not 100% clear on it. Somebody was telling me about that they want to plan a retreat in Greece. And I said, well, keep me posted, because would you like someone who can do breath work? And she's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I don't know when that's going to be. Doesn't matter. I've put it out there. It will happen.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Those are some high goals. Hopefully you can
Yeah.
manifest them into reality.
Yeah. That's the plan anyway. And this lifetime would be nice. If not, it'll
So
be
how can
nice.
people get a hold of you?
They can go, great question. They can go to my website, KarenTheimer.com, sign up for my free PDF on decluttering the mind. Or if you'd like to book a discovery call, I'm always open to chatting and connecting. They can also find me on Facebook. Instagram, I'm starting to get more on again. I focused a lot on Facebook, but now I realize I need to be on Instagram. So you can find me there.
Awesome. I'll post those links too on the show notes for anybody wanting to get a hold of Karen too.
Awesome. Thank
Is
you.
is there anything that we haven't talked or covered that you'd like to talk about?
Oh my gosh, we talked about it so much. No, I've really enjoyed this conversation and chatting with you. Not that I can think of offhand, right? I mean, I'm sure I could probably come up with something, but I think we covered a lot of stuff today. And I mean, not that I can think of offhand.
Well, that's good. That means I did very well researching then and to come up with some nice questions for you to keep you engaged.
Yeah, you had great questions, by the way. Thank you.
Okay, final question. What is one piece of advice you would give to our listeners about overcoming adversity?
Please get comfortable with getting uncomfortable. Like really, truly. And I mean, it is so important, because you're uncomfortable. You can live it being uncomfortable anyway, because people are living in their pain, their discomfort, whatever that is. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable for a short period of time. You can stay uncomfortable for a long period of time and hate where you're at. Or you can just go, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone, and it's going to be a short period of time. I'm going to rip off that Band-Aid. I'm going to do it anyway. It's okay, because I'm going to get comfortable at that. So
That's great advice.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot more people need to realize. Hey, it's okay to become uncomfortable, be uncomfortable. That's where true growth happens. And that's the only way I'm going to achieve
Yeah.
my goals.
Yeah. Yeah. You can have fun with it. You don't have to beat yourself up over it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Karen, I want to thank you again for coming on here. It's been a great conversation with you, bring a lot of knowledge and experience.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I really appreciate it. I love your show. I look forward to, hopefully staying connected, and I really appreciate it. And I hope I helped someone just move that needle a little bit forward.
I'm sure you did. Well, guys, That's going to be all the time we have here today. Remember to get the only way to get what you want is go through the fire.
That's right.